So let's just read it and read about it a bit. We've done these things this way for 30 years. Every generation, those costs went up and we realigned with it, he replied. We've reached the precipice now where the center can't hold. We cannot continue to do things that we have done before. Layden added that he believes that in order for the console market to remain healthy, they must also appeal to a broad audience and consumers who weren't previously players. It's time for a real hard reset on the business model. Big agree on this one. A hard reset on what it is to be a video game, he said. It's not 80 hours, it's not 90 hours, but if it is, that's a whole different category. If you've liked the video this far, be sure to consider hitting subscribe, hit that bell to know when notifications go live, especially if you've enjoyed the content this far. Yeah, and I think this idea that every game needs to be 80, 90 hours has sort of seeped into game design, where design is negatively impacting your overall experience of the game. If you have a cool feature, like I'm playing the original Red Dead right now, hunting is a big part of that game. And it was something that they thought about, they fleshed out, and it's really, really good, right? However, in a modern game, hunting might be like this whole separate thing that you could seep 20 hours into. Or tower liberation. Like Ubisoft has this sort of template formula where you need to liberate all the towers to unlock the map, and then you sort of build upon that. And, for me, I think it's gotten bloaty. Game design has gotten a little bit bloated where they're trying to do too many things in the game, or they're stringing you along with all these side objectives you could do, and there's just too many of them. You have 5 different kinds of collectibles. You have to unlock the fog of war on the map. You have to do all these things because, as Shawn Layden is alluding to here, they have to justify that the price of their game, first of all, and they have to justify releasing a game at that price point and keep players hooked so that they end up in the microtransaction store or whatever. And I think it's really unfortunate because AAA games, I think, have suffered under their own weight because of that reason. So when asked about future console hardware, Layden said he believed that a power boost on its own would not appeal to the majority of players. It is plateaued. We're at the stage of hardware development that I call only dogs can hear the difference, he said. If you're playing your game and sunlight is coming through your window onto your TV, you're not seeing any ray tracing. It has to be super optimal. You have to have an 8K monitor in a dark room to see these things. I get what he is saying. He is basically saying, like, if you need a Digital Foundry video where they do 300% zooms on the grass and talk about the improvements on the grass, and they have to, like, or the performance reviews that I do on IGN, if you have to analyze the frame rate to show, oh, look, you're getting like 5% more frame rate on your console for Dragon's Dogma 2, it was a fun game, but yeah, the frame rate was really, really bad, and it's still not going to hit a lock 60. It's just like, I think the majority of consumers are not going to care about that. And that's why I thought the question up front was a good one to address, because it's just not something that the majority of players are looking for. Look, if you are going to get a PlayStation 5 Pro like me, I totally get where you're coming from, but we are definitely not the majority, right? We are not the people that are, or we are the type of people that are looking for those tiny little details. And part of the reason I look for them is because it's part of my job. Now, if I was really thinking about whether or not I would get that new piece of hardware, I waited for the PlayStation 4 Pro. So if I didn't need it for work, I probably wouldn't purchase one. I probably would have just stuck with my PlayStation 5 and waited it out till the PlayStation 6 generation. My whole thought process with the PlayStation 4 Pro when it came out was, oh, I'll wait for a price drop. It never came. And then the PlayStation 5 was coming out in like a year. So I just never worried about it. Yeah, and separately, as a content creator, as somebody that utilizes those devices for obviously work in terms of creating content like I do on this channel, you get tax write-offs aren't like free money that like people think. It reduces the amount of income that you end up having to pay taxes on. So it's helpful. And they say that you should spend a certain percentage of your earnings every year, but I hire a tax person to do that because I have no idea what I'm doing in that realm. But yeah, so people are like, oh, you can just write it off in your taxes, and they think you just get it for free. You don't get it for free. You just pay a little bit less taxes at the end of the year. Anyway, all of that said, I usually I don't agree with Sean Layden, but almost everything that he has said in this piece conflates with something that I've heard from an industry professional who does industry analysis for a living. And I really think he was onto something with this one. And he concludes by saying that race is nearly over, and you know who won? AMD. And he's right, because AMD provided all the components for those computers. So I think it was a really, really good interview. Now, there were several interviews with Sean Layden, and apparently Gamescom Asia actually had this whole other piece where he was able to sit in on a fireside chat with Gordon Van Dyke. We're going to cover off on that one over on gamesindustry.biz. And this one, he sort of talked about where game design is going and talks about some of the things that I have also discussed on my streams. In the past, we spent a lot more time looking at games and not asking what's your monetization scheme, or what's your recurrent revenue plan, or what's your subscription formula. We asked the simple question, is it fun? Are we having a good time? If you said yes to those questions, you'd usually get a green light. You didn't worry so much about the end piece, for better or for worse. Of course, back then you didn't make a game for millions of dollars, so your risk tolerance was fairly high. And honestly, like I really just wish like most AAA designers and the people hitting the green light, there are so many things that they have to consider when they're making a AAA game. Okay, do we have all of the bells and whistles that gamers have asked for? Like, are the graphics up to snuff? Are all of these things looking the best that they possibly can? Secondarily, they asked like, okay, well, what's our monetization structure with the skins? Well, let's make sure we save the best skins for the people that are willing to pay, $23 for the horse, or whatever you end up paying in Diablo for whatever skin that you don't earn anymore. You actually just purchase. And I think that's really, really unfortunate. Literally the first, and I talk about this all the time, the first video I made on my personal YouTube channel was stop buying microtransactions. Vote with your wallet. I've been saying that for a decade now. I think that video is like 9 years old, but the fundamentals of what I was talking about in that piece, which nobody watched, was if you keep spending money on the microtransactions, on the battle passes and such, it is a poison eroding away at the fabric of the games that you want to play, because now we're in this future where every game has to have something ripped out of it, put in a store so that they can sell it back to you using an upselling tactic, to the point where Ubisoft is literally releasing several SKUs of their games. They have the main game that you can just buy for $60. They have the middle of the road game. They have the $100 collector's edition game. And then they have the subscription plan so that you subscribe to Ubisoft Plus Premium. And it's really unfortunate that we're in this place, because back in the day, the Halo Bungie devs basically said, hey, that sticky grenade's pretty fun. There's our 3 seconds of fun. Can we build a whole game around that mechanic and build it out from there? And going back and playing something like Red Dead, which granted did have cosmetics, even as far back as Red Dead, they had Undead Nightmare, which was a DLC package. They had costumes that you could buy, and that's all fine. But it's gotten to the point where I think gamers are fed up, and they're just like, yeah, you know what? I'm not going to buy all this stuff in the store. I'm not going to be a whale, or at least I hope that's what we're seeing in the industry. I hope we're seeing a breaking point with how people are choosing to spend their money in these worlds that they end up exploring. He continues on. Today, the entry cost for making a AAA game is in the triple-digit millions now. I think naturally risk tolerance drops, and you're looking at sequels, you're looking at copycats, because the finance guys who draw the line say, well, if Fortnite has made this much money in this amount of time, my Fortnite knockoff can make this in that amount of time. We're seeing a collapse of creativity in games today with studio consolidation and the high cost of production. And he's absolutely right. It's incredibly unfortunate, isn't it? And he goes on to say that we've seen this in movies, you know, with the Marvel Cinematic Universe. And I absolutely agree with him. I think we're seeing less and less creativity. I think games these days are, what's the saying I see online all the time? I wouldn't even say designed by committee, although that might be a separate topic, where everybody gets to say about every facet of the game, as opposed to one person having a vision and then everybody works together to bring that vision to reality. Of course, with a little bit of um, thought into how they want that to come to life, and you have a discussion. I think it was Thomas Maller was getting a little bit of hot water this week because he was talking about it a little bit on X about how, you know, when you're passionate about the things that you're creating, you have heated arguments. And you know who else I saw about it? The Fallout creator. The Fallout creator talked about it, and there's stuff in Jason Schreier's book where the best games, there's always a creative friction, and creative friction sometimes in the modern space is a little concerning to a lot of people. But that, yeah, Tim Kaine, thank you, chat. Some of those creative friction moments have resulted in the best games we've ever played. I think it's part of a really exciting creative energy that I worry is being lost in the sauce, so to speak, because these days it seems like the executives are more worried about making their ROI than they are about anything else. Phil in chat says, we don't have many Kojimas anymore. And I think that's a great analogy. We don't have a lot of people like Kojima who really believe in their vision and just will do anything to see it come to life. In what world do you think it would be even possible to get something like Halo 1? How could you ever get Halo 1 greenlit in the modern era? What would it look like? Well, you would have a whole bunch of skins that you can get from Master Chief, and they would be locked behind some sort of paywall system. The multiplayer maps, you would have literally half the amount of multiplayer maps because they would sell you, you know, multiplayer maps, or they would release them as part of their season pass model. The levels, maybe you would only have half of the campaign. Well, I mean, you sort of did with Halo 1, right? And then you went into Halo 2, which was half the campaign, and then you continued it on. And it would be just, I think it would be really unfortunate if Halo 1 was designed with modern day standards in place. Because I think there has been something has definitely been lost with not all. Metaphor ReFantazio just came out. It's in the Persona vein. I started playing. I played about an hour or so of it, and I'm like, wow, this is really, really refreshing. And there's smaller AA games in the indie space, like, you know, Helldivers 2 was this massive success earlier in the year. Palworld could be a massive success if he manages to, if that team manages not to get sued into oblivion. But we're at a really, I consider it an unfortunate time, honestly. There are great games coming out here and there, but there are so many colossal disasters that result in studio closure that it's really tough to make those bets these days. And honestly, I was asked by Rami, I forget his last name, but he said, well, if you had $100 million, would you bet on one $100 million bet or 10 $10 million bets? And I would take the 10 $10 million bets, honestly. I would rather fund 10 indie games and then build them up from there, but that's not the play most people are making. They're going all in on Suicide Squad, and they're saying that they need to have all of the cosmetics and they got to do all of this. They have to have all of these check boxes checked. You got to have the best graphics. You got to have the battle pass. You got to have the skin. You got to have the store. You got to have the season pass. You got to have collectibles in the game that aren't particularly fun to get. And you got to have loot to chase. And don't give them too much loot, because if you give them all the loot up front, and if it's too easy to get, then you know how it goes. And it's really, really unfortunate that that's where we are in my opinion. He continues on, in the gaming business, you have Call of Duty, Grand Theft Auto, indie stuff, but then that middle piece, that middle layer that used to be where Interplay, Gremlin, Ocean THQ, all those companies made their money, that middle piece is gone. If you can become AAA, you survive, or if you do something interesting in the indie space, you could, but AA is gone. I think that's a threat to the ecosystem, if you will. So I'm looking at indie stuff with the advent of technologies like the latest Unreal Engine or what Unity can give you. I think we can all say that the standard quality of video games is pretty high right now compared to 10 years ago. And I would agree with that, because if you don't release it high, it falls on its face. Even a game, we saw the FBC Firebreak trailer this week, and the thing is that looks really, really cool. Talking about Remedy for a second, though, Alan Wake still isn't profitable. Alan Wake 2 still has not broken into the profitability margin. And I respect the hell out of Remedy for taking a swing at a game like Alan Wake 2 and saying, you know what? We think this will become profitable. And that's good enough for us. But the problem is most companies don't think like Remedy. Most companies are like, this needs to make us all the money. And if it doesn't, shut it all down. And that's really, really scary. Anyway, let's continue reading here. I only read that much of it. Now, if we can just get a bit more interest and excitement and exposure for these lower budget but super creative and super unusual types of games, I'd like to see more of that, because if we're just going to rely on the blockbusters to get us through, I think that's a death sentence. He's absolutely correct. And here's the thing about those middle of the road games. I think more and more and more of those smaller, quote unquote, smaller games are popping off. And it has me so excited about the future of the way the industry is going. Delta Force is a game I probably have 200 hours in. I adored that game. And I'm just like, hey, Delta Force is great. We should probably cover Delta Force. Delta Force is a really, really fun game. And, IGN has a preview up and things like that. I posted some gameplay over the weekend, and it's really, really good. And then there's the question of physical media. We do have the question of physical media in chat from The Rock over here. He said, I work for GameStop, so I personally love my discs, mainly because they're the same price as digital. No reason a digital game should be the same price as a physical disc. That's the only downside for me. Absolutely true. I do think there is a place for physical media. You pop that disc in and it downloads the update. But more and more, we are actually seeing a whole different version of the game. Like I think Silent Hill 2 is like the gold standard for Silent Hill 2, which was put into the disc version of the game, but you don't get that when you launch it online. And there's the whole distribution methodology with physical versus digital, where the digital version can be distributed quite easily, right? The digital version, you just say add new code so that people can buy game. So yeah, that's a little bit crazy. Anyway, bring something that you sort of challenge yourself to see. The gaming media, this medium is so flexible. It can do many different things, he continued. So I think your strengths in AA are going to be that your time to market should be faster. To get 1,500 developers to do the next GTA, that's not the place you need to go for your AA. If you're a developer, you've got to be able to say, I can get something up and running in 2 to 3.5 years. And we have seen games that have developed in 2 to 3 years that just absolutely trounce the competition. There was a recent large game that was developed in 2 to 3 years. I think Black Myth Wukong would be another good example that was developed on a shorter time cycle than most games. And it got really lucky. There have been a lot of failures out of China. So don't get me wrong about the China market. They have had their fair share of failures, including the studio that made Black Myth Wukong. And it's only been going up from there. If you're going to pitch your AA game and in the first 2 pages of your deck is your monetization and revenue subscription scheme, I'm out. Your first page has to be, this game needs to be made and here's why. Well, I'm glad one of the investors say that. I want to see that fire. I don't want to see here's the chief accountant on the team that's going to explain to you the game's monetization. He also talks about AI. Artificial intelligence has been in gaming since almost the first or second games ever made. So all this excitement about Gen AI, I find kind of humorous. I do see its applications in certain places for certain things, but it's just a tool. It's not a savior. It's a tool in the way that Excel is a tool. It just helps you speed along your tasks. One good example would be utilizing AI to help you find all of the assets that have a certain term for them within your engine or something like that. Something where it can like watch video information and say, hey, I need all of the instances where our QA team was doing this bug and they encountered this bug. So give me all the video clips of those. Like that's something that AI could be really, really helpful with, is just something off the top of my head. So that is really, really interesting. And if, funny enough, that's actually what he sort of discusses. I think it helps with ideation. You can get a really good pitch deck done fast using AI. Finally, Layden also touched upon the opportunities that Asia represents for the games industry. This is a big one. I do think that Asia isn't held to the same standard that the Western market is. I think in the West, we have a lot more. I think there's a little bit of confusion on the development side as to what gamers actually want versus what gamers say they want. There's what gamers say they want. Oh, we need the best looking graphics in the world. Okay, explain why Palworld was so successful. Palworld did not have the best graphics in the world. It has to be cutting edge 4K native. Here comes Helldivers 2, not cutting edge, not 4K native. It's just a really fun game. At the end of the day, what gamers actually want, and we all know this, a fun video game, a good story. Like if you're focusing on the story being a core part of your game experience, it has to be that. And I don't know about you, but during my gameplay session, I either want to feel cool, play as a cool character, be a badass, right? Or I want to be moved in some way. One of the super janky game, but I played That Dragon Cancer. There's probably a live stream somewhere on it on this game. It's just a small indie game. It's a story of two parents who lost their child, very unfortunately, to cancer. And it's a wonderful game raising awareness to cancer. And I believe it was for a charity. A great game. You know, there's experiences like that. But I think it's harder to find those peer experiences today. And that is one avenue where I don't feel like the Asia market is as beholden to as the Western market is, right? I think, like I said, something is being lost in translation between what gamers say they want and what they actually want. I think gamers are very loud on X, and there's a little bit of confusion. Like guys, you're not going to get native 4K games on consoles for a long time. I'm just going to break it to you now. I don't think you're going to get native 4K on most of your PlayStation 5 Pro games, maybe PlayStation 6. But honestly, PC gamers are really happy at that 1440p mark anyway. I look at Asia, South Asia, this part of the world as where all the next great opportunities are going to come from. I agree on that. And the level of the game development talent here grows faster than the rest of the world, he said. I think here in Asia, where we have a lot of small, scrappy studios with good talent, they just need to break through. It's just a bit of luck to find the right IP or find the right platform. I'd also like to see more games being made in that country, in that culture. It's like if my game doesn't sell a lot in California, I'm not successful. Well, California is not your market. Look at the markets here. They're growing. The economies are robust. There's more disposable income. You can make a great game in Indonesia for that market. And I think that's so important for the overall global gaming system, because the one thing I've been talking about in my 5 years since I've retired is very simple. We need more people playing games. It's a $250 billion global business, but the actual number of players doesn't grow at the same pace. So we're getting more money from the same people. You need to get more people playing games. How do you do that? We need to get more people making games. More people around the world have to be in the business or the art of making games. Make it for your neighbors, make it for your friends, make it for yourself, but don't think that the Western market is the be all end all of your activity. Build it here, be successful. You know what's crazy? I literally just said some version of what Shawn Layden just said, and I find it interesting that he is coming to the same conclusions. I think you need to stick to your vision. Like I think Sean Murray is a great example of somebody that made something. He believed in it. He started doing it as his inspiration. And some of these other games that, you know, inspired him when he was younger. There was like a space adventure game that was on the DOS that he really, really enjoyed. And Sean Murray, if I said Shawn Layden, you know who I meant. And I think there's something there, right? There's something there that I really, really admire and appreciate, because all too often we get caught up in chasing these trends. And I love it when a developer sticks to what they think is going to work, and then they see great success for that happening. Thanks for watching, everybody. If you like my content, hit that subscribe button, hit that bell. If you did hear a whistle during this video, that is my son having fun, so I do apologize for that. But he's allowed to do that, right? Thanks for watching, everybody. I do greatly appreciate you hanging out. Thank you so much to the members. If you want to become a member and support this channel, you can do so by clicking that join button right down there at the bottom of the screen. You just click join and you can see details. You can support at whatever level. It all supports this channel. And before I go, check out this video that I'm going to link to. It's probably related to the thing that I'm talking about. I'll see you for the next one. Bye for now, everybody.
Hey, Conrax, how's it going? Doing good. You're gonna learn Blender or what? Yeah, eventually. I just haven't gotten to it yet. I need a mesh here to cover something to cover up part of this. Do that and then that around. Then why is my phone buzzing? ArtStation Digest. Just fall asleep listening to Blender tutorials. That's the way to do it. That could be a way. Now there's a good idea. Edges. Insert edge loop. There we go. Okay, now this portion here, this portion is going to be swapped in and out depending on if the player is wearing a backpack or if they're not wearing a backpack. We'll do that. Now guys, your design of the various game mechanics, I actually haven't really thought about like the combat mechanics and stuff yet. It's all about armor. I just hyperfixate on one thing and then get that done. If I think about everything, I'm gonna get overwhelmed. I'm gonna get overwhelmed like Tassadar did on the planet of Telnaga. Like, I'm not really, so like mechanics wise, I'm not really gonna do anything like anything you haven't seen before in games. It's all about just like combining them in a way that will make them fun and not like absolute shit. Why is there two of this mesh? What the heck? What is this? Oh. See that, okay. I don't even know if I need this anymore. Oh! Okay, well that's it for the cloak. I should hide the cloak. I'm not gonna work on that yet. Cloak and jetpack are for later. Backpack. All of these are auxiliary meshes that go on top of the bottom portion. You're doing the same thing. Yeah. Yeah, I think it's a smart thing to do too. Like, I actually think a lot of existing game ideas are really good. It's just that greed gets in the way and makes them shit. Like, I actually think live services are a really, really good idea. Except, like, the monetization of live service games is terrible. Like, you want to play a game where you know the developers are continuously updating that game and making it better, right? That's the live service portion of the game. What players don't want is, oh, have some more loot boxes, you dumbass. You like those loot boxes? Here, have some more. That's what players don't want. That's why live service has gotten such a bad rap. Like a lot of the existing mechanics and stuff, they've been developed by really talented people in our industry. It's just that somewhere down the line they just miss the mark by a bit, and when you miss the mark by a bit in the games industry, you miss it by a mile. Music's a little bit loud. It's very good, but it's a little bit loud. Yeah, no problem. That'll be 40.99. Subscribe to my YouTube for more pro game developer facts. bit steeper. Buy now. Buy now or it will disappear. If you don't buy now, it'll be gone by the next season and you'll have to buy different developer feedback and you don't know if it's better or worse. And you'll never get the old advice ever again. we have a discount on Zeth tokens where you can purchase more advice. Get a box of 75 Zeth tokens for $3.99. And then you can go and spend those tokens on an 80 token Zeth advice. What am I doing here? This is like all fucked up. I need to try on topological mode. Oh yeah, I was adding like some more meshes in here because I didn't really like all the bare metal here. It was getting a bit too metallic. Like this for now. Advice NFTs. The overuse of cosmetics is a turnoff in Path of Exile. I agree. There's too much cosmetics. And like, I feel like a lot of the cosmetics, they don't tie into like the lore very much. Or at least if it does tie into the lore. Because I did work on a cosmetic that did tie into the lore. I worked on a cosmetic for Hiri's Ire. Or Hyri's Ire. I don't know the lore to it right now. I completely forgot. I never really played bows. I mostly played summoners, so so sorry to all the bow mains out there, all the rangers. Yeah. Like if it doesn't, yeah. The MTX has to tie into the world. Otherwise, the more MTX you make, the less congruent your world feels. mostly just random nonsense. But it's cool looking random nonsense. You can't just say random nonsense. I know some of the people who made the random nonsense. But yeah, like, it has to tie into the lore somehow. I feel like even I made that mistake over when I was working at Grinding Gear, because like I try to look up lore on the game, right? I go to the Path of Exile wiki. What do I find there? I don't find any lore, that's for sure. I just like find like spreadsheets and stuff about how to make your your bow better. But yeah, like Path of Exile, it's a power fantasy. Just like grind the shit out of everything until like just slay endless hordes of monsters kind of game. It's not really something that most players would play for the lore. But even then, that said, right, the lore is still important. Like making sure that the world of Path of Exile Wraeclast, making it feel grounded is going to be instrumental to their success, I think. I own a bunch of cosmetics myself. I bought the game as a Kickstarter. Yeah, yeah, me too. Before I joined up, I realized I actually spent like $700 on on shit in Path of Exile. I was like, oh my god, I spent so much. Like, it was around the time I noticed there's actually like a invoice tab on your account, and I told you how much you were spending. I'm like, oh my god, I need to stop spending money on Path of Exile. So I joined up with them, and then they paid me. How the turntables. Yeah, right? You go to town and like there's like 50,000 pets just like roaming around. Some dude's like dual wielding like a fire lion and then like a frost saber or something. And then behind him are like two cherubs like carrying like thuribles or something. It is a bit ridiculous, yeah. People seem to like the wings I made though. And those are like the biggest, well, some of the biggest wings you can get in Path of Exile are the wings I made. So you can blame me for like helping to cover up 50% of your town visibility with like the pair of wings I made. It's like 3 sets of wings. So you have like 3 wings, 3 pairs of wings on your back. That's what I'm trying to do for Project Noah. Just keep everything as grounded as I can make it, but also like looking fashionable too. It has to look cool. Cool but grounded. I actually feel like Grinding Gear games, they need to release a subscriber. They need to release a subscription model, kind of like Elder Scrolls Online, where you have like, if you subscribe, you'll get like free coins at the end of every month, or at the start of every month. And then you also get like an expanded stash tab for like ingredients. They need to do that. They can't just rely on microtransactions. I know they have the battle pass too, which is doing well for them, but yeah. I still feel like they need some kind of subscription model. Possibly. Who knows? I don't know anything about their finances. My store is too successful. Yeah. I think subscription models are good, but they have to be optional. You have to have like a, like it has to be a bonus on top of the base game. It can't. It either has to be base game entirely, so everyone has to pay subscription, like WoW, or it's a bonus on top of the normal gameplay. But you can't. I think the model where if you don't pay for a subscription, you're basically playing freemium, and your gameplay is going to suck because of that. Everything's gonna be grindy as shit. Like that's the worst. That's the worst subscription model ever. Like if you don't subscribe, you're gonna have to spend hours upon hours upon hours just to like farm stuff. And you'll see this a lot in like Korean MMOs. I think that is the worst subscription model you can possibly make. What? You messaged Sorbo saying what? Saying you said he wanted. Saying you said he wanted to talk. Nah, I'm confused. You try and troll me, Conrax. That grammar. What is that grammar, Conrax? Unless I haven't woken up yet. I didn't make coffee. I should have made coffee. No one is more confused than I am. Ugh. I just realized I don't need those. I just need like these two pieces up here. Wait, I do need one of them. Okay. At least one. So you gonna learn the coding stuff? Yes. Like that's the only way. I don't have the money to hire someone like Maddox, so I'm just gonna do it myself. I have inventory up and running. I don't know if you've seen. Whoops. Give me a sec here. I have like a rudimentary inventory system up and running in Blueprints, which I will eventually refine and then probably port over to like C++ because inventory stuff is going to be, you need to be really fast with that. That has to be one of like the most solid pieces of infrastructure in an MMO. We go right here. No, wait, pick up. Where's the crosshair? Oops. Oops. Oh, there we go. Okay. Number 2. Wait, can I not pick that up? Oh yeah, I forgot. I moved the... Yeah, the crosshair is lower than the middle of the screen, so I need to move that. But yeah, just pick up some items. There's like tooltips and stuff. Tells you class, item class, weight, buy price, sell price. You can stick them in different inventories, so I can like... I think... There's a way to like split. What is the button for split again? Oops. Oh well, maybe I broke it or something. But anyway, I used to be able to split stacks. I can like 3 drumsticks in there. Oops. Go grab these items again. I forgot the hotkeys for Unreal. Ah, yeah, okay. And then I can put like a log in here. And then they'll like still be in there. So these are instanced inventories, different inventories. And then we also have like the class character screen. Yeah, it goes into the weapons, go into the weapons slot. They don't go into like any other slot here for the armors. So yeah. And then like, what, this is like the character selection screen, but I'm definitely going to overhaul this. But like all these graphics I made in ZBrush, and then I just like rendered them out So like the reason why they look so nice is because they're like images of 3D models. They have like different like clicky click icons. Yeah, like a lot of that stuff. Like I'll just have to learn C++ and then move that over from blueprints. Which shouldn't be too hard, honestly. Like just making sure that everything is optimized will be the hardest part, I think. Thanks. There's nothing like that on sale. I wonder why. Like it wasn't hard to make stuff like that. Like you just like make. Yeah, I don't know. That just wasn't hard for me. Like no, not like humble bragging or anything, but like I'm thinking like if it's so easy, maybe it's actually not worthwhile like putting on the market because like anyone can make them. That's the logic there. Not that like I'm like, yeah, it's so fucking easy. Why aren't other people doing this? Dynamesh, where is Dynamesh? I keep getting confused. Honestly, taking a look around, there isn't much for animated stuff anyways. I feel like maybe like UI is just, it's such a personal thing to the game that like if you make animated, also like the user interface is one of the last things you've worked on usually. That's what I've heard from like a former WoW dev. Like one of the reasons why a lot of the user interfaces in games suck is because it's one of the last things that are worked on, and hence one of the last things that are polished, if ever. So I guess they just like, yeah, if you're selling like a user interface pack for buttons and stuff, that means whoever is in the market to buy something like that is nearing the completion of their game. So yeah, I don't know. Like, how many game developers actually manage to finish making a game? That will be your customer base. It sounds like a very, very niche customer base. Like a lot of people start game projects. How many of them actually finish what they start, right? That's wrong, I'm making mine now. Yeah, I guess like me too, right? I was prototyping mine early on. Like, alright, what you saw already. So I don't know how true that is. Maybe it's not true. But yeah, either way, I don't have the time to make stuff like that and sell it on the market. I just want to work on Project Nova. I mean, there's like a lot of marketable ideas that I have, but it's just like not really something I want to do. Actually, wait, no, that was your idea, Conrax. Sorry. I was like, you know what? This marketable idea is now mine. Yeah, I thought about that, Conrax. That wasn't your idea. 100% thought about it. You made a concept piece already. I'm working on the icons and nice. You can have all the ideas. That's why I don't mind streaming like the progress of Project Nova. Like, I don't care if anyone sees this, not even my competitors. The real work is actually like implementing it and like actually doing the work of turning ideas into games. So like game ideas are basically worthless. It's the work that you put into them to bring those ideas into reality, which is what is priceless. I forgot, these plates are like facing upward. Okay. Interesting. You know what I should do? Instead of like mucking around with this, I should just hide that. Yeah, hide this too. Let's duplicate this. Grab these. Whoops. I don't know why I'm moving it. I really should have made some coffee. We'll do something like that. And then extrude. Okay, now they're all kind of in the right place. Now we'll make the edges a little bit more regular. Go ahead and merge this to the rest here. Tuck that in. Use the leather straps. There we go. That'll go underneath. So for here. Let's try and make these cutoffs a bit more even. Oh shit. Don't want to do that. Symmetry on. Okay, good. Ugh. Ah. I'm gonna make some coffee. There's still 2 hours left in this stream before I have to go to work on Exanima, so I should go make some coffee right now. I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. Sorry for the wait. I really need to make more belt buckles. I have this one belt buckle has been like carrying my career. Okay, as a design, I think this is a strong suit of armor. Right. This part needs to be a bit something like that. Yeah, I think this works. Let's go move on to the next one. I've spent enough time here. This is like this is a stage where I can really take it to the next level. It should be in belt 4. Okay. Get some coffee. Oh, it's kind of dark. Did I turn up the light? I did, okay. Is this of the wrong color? No? Okay. Weird. Where'd my tablet stencil go? Stylus. Here we go. Found it. Man, I can't believe Asmongold is still banned. 2 weeks is such a long time. What am I gonna do without Asmongold? I have to listen to some edgy person rant about society and life in general. Otherwise, I don't feel fulfilled. Where is my entertainment? Oh, we're out of music. Need more music. YouTube stopped working. There we go. Wait, what armor is this? What type of armor is this? Ah, yeah, okay. So this is what I'm basically making. Is here. Like a Lamellar disc armor. Got the roly-poly. You got the Squirtle belly armor. Not Squirtle, it's like that one Pokemon. Poliwag or something. Poliwag belly armor. Oh my god, I just realized like my my browser like fucking died and you guys are commenting this entire time. Sorry about that. Hey Inoculating. Hey hey Turbo. I'm a sucker for metal pauldrons. Yeah, they're pretty cool. This music is insane. Yes, it does. I'm a bad streamer, forgive me. I think these pauldrons are a little bit too big. I'll resize those. These are also kind of weirdly shaped. Work on that. Let's go do. Let's resize the breastplates and the cuirass lower for this set. So. Song is my jam. It's so good. Have you seen like there's this one streamer called, he's not really a streamer, but like McConnell. He streamed this song for 10 hours straight. I think I was there when it happened originally, way back in the olden days. This is the best song to go adventuring on. It's weird, I really like RuneScape music, but I don't like playing RuneScape a whole lot. I just like the music. Playing WoW right now is like the best of both worlds. Yeah, right. What is that purple thing there? It shouldn't. Is that the? Is that this? That's not good if it is. Did this get altered or something? Because I feel like it's the wrong shape. I need to figure that out. Okay, let's go check. I feel like one of the bits here. I have this and then that there. Curious. No. 4-point trousers. Why is it exceeding the limit of yeah, what's up with this? What is this? Yeah, that needs to be knocked back in a bit. This needs to be more like skin tight. Oops, let's go hide this. And then reproject. The butt crack keeps getting projected. Lols. Inoculating's like, whoa, what? Butt crack? Time to alt-tab and check out what Seth is doing again. Fuck, this thing is here too. Man, I just suck at projecting, don't I? That's exactly what happened. A game developer knows his audience. Monkey brain activate. Hey, calm down. The neighbor dog again. Neighbor dog thinks it's funny to bark and wake all the other dogs up in the condo. Delete this for a sec. What? Yeah. This needs to have like a wider gap in the middle, otherwise it'll be overlapping. I might actually just get rid of these straps and then replace them with something else. Or just like not even have them, just because, I don't know. Maybe they're a bit too, they don't, yeah. I need to work on the larger structures here before I delve into straps, I think. Ugh. Yeah, that looks better. I need something really low profile. Yeah, this is good enough. I can like start working on that armor now, I think. Ah, okay, so this needs to be a little bit bigger. So Kyrus's have to fit within this. Maybe I'll just use this actually as the base. This is like the marker. That has to fit within. Yeah, I'll just use this. Well, actually, where is that again? I should go into ref. Here. Okay. Let's go delete this. This is like too inflated. That's not inflate by 2, by 3. Okay. Everything, all of the belts need to be inflated by 3. Or I just like copy them over. Okay. Go ahead and delete this. Guys, I gotta go. Like, actually right now. Let's go finish up this bit here and then I gotta head off. Wait, what the heck? What is that? Is that really the... Oh, I guess it is. Okay. Gotta get to work. Gotta work, 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 work. What is that? Oh, those are the belts. I don't need those. But yeah. Okay. I removed those because they're too high profile. They're too chunky. They were too skibbity riz. That's what the newer generation says these days. I bet Rusty says that to himself in the shower. Alright guys, that's all for today. I'll see you guys next time. Got a lot done today. Take care. Bye-bye.